Well, okay, so Banner Saga came out in 2014. So what's that, 9 years ago on PC? Though I believe there's a mobile port version or something like that. There's a trilogy. They all came out relatively close to each other within like a couple of years. And the company themselves, Stoic, haven't released anything since, though they've had job postings and all that. I looked into it, I was curious. So they have something in the pipeline that they've been quietly working on for quite a few years. And there's even some rumors that they may have wrapped and they're already starting on their next sort of project, right? So it'll be really interesting to see what comes up, because I really like Banner Saga. I haven't clocked all three. I believe I clocked this one back in the day, but it's been so long. And it's a really wonderful game, but it's somber, right? It's pretty heavy stuff. It's very much the world is ending. God is dead. The sun has stopped. All this sort of grim stuff, and you're trying to make do with essentially the incoming apocalypse. Anyway, let's go. You've got multiple races. The story in the Banner Saga changes based on the choices that you make. You will occasionally switch between lead characters, witnessing the story unfold from different perspectives. The gods are dead, so that's a pretty heavy-duty opening. In their wake, man and giant survived through a tenuous alliance, driving black destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing has stopped: the sun. That's a pretty concise, if heavy-duty setup. Keep me honest with the levels. I will adjust them as required.
Several long months on the road. The first signs of snowfall accost us on our approach to Strand, largest of the trade cities on the Val-human borders, and our last collection before returning to the capital. Several days ago, the sun simply came to a stop in the sky. Though during these long winter days, none of us can be certain how long it has been this way. Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds. We have been warned by stranded travelers about brigands on the path through Ridgehorn, our road home. Our captain seems unconcerned. Perhaps he is as eager as I to be done here. We will rest here this day and inquire further when we speak to the governor.
Fair enough. Pretty good setup. I quite like these sort of little, almost panoramic shots. You get these occasional cutscenes like this, but a lot of the game is in that sort of ant farm perspective. This rotoscoping animation is so good, though. So we've rocked up in the middle of some sort of skirmish going on. You've arrived just in time. The chieftain in red and his men are now looking for a tougher fight than they bargained for. Drag around to look at your settings, blah blah blah. Okay? These portraits are in order of initiative, taking turns from left to right. Your allies are blue and your enemy is red. It's your turn to act. We've got this shield banger. Movement happens before action. The ring shows that the shield banger is active. Blue tiles around him show where he can move. Some characters fill more tiles other than others, right? So the big, well, you can see here, the horned allies are a race of giants called Val. who take up 4 tiles each, like a dreadnought sort of thing. Horny giants. They fight in a single tile. While humans fight in a single tile. Apologies. This can have a huge impact on your strategy. Check the tile that you want to move to. Yep, off we go. Cool. Click, click. To target an enemy, check the tile on which they stand. Allies are blue, enemies red. Right, so we're going to click him. Now, the way strength works is really interesting. It dictates not only their hit points, but their output as well. If you bash someone's strength down lower and lower and lower, they do less damage, which is cool. I mean, it can potentially lead to some balancing issues, but ultimately, it's sort of representative. If you poke a few holes in a bloke, he's going to stop swinging quite as hard. You can attack either their strength or armor. We've got 2 and 5. The number of damage that you will do. And above here you can see what he has in reserve, 4 and 5. We should be able to actually just kill him outright. Strength counts both as health and damage. A loss of 2 strength means you'll now do 2 less strength. If strength falls to 0, the character falls. Armor blocks strength damage, but can be reduced by a break attack. By breaking armor, you open them up to take more damage in the future. He only has 5 strength, so we can just kill him, so we're just going to do that. Jesus. That voice acting. He's down. Each time you make a kill, your renown grows, which is used to improve your characters. It's essentially your currency in this world. After taking an action, your turn ends. Next up is your enemy. Turns always alternate, even if you are outnumbered. So it's I go, you go. Despite being at full strength, the chieftain will do little damage against your shield banger's high armor. Now it's your Warhawk's turn. He appears to be out of range of these enemies, but he can use willpower to boost his actions. It's sort of an overcharge thing, and you have very limited amount of it. So we're going to go there and push it to the limit. Standard attacks only affect single enemy, but your Warhawk has a special, unique ability. Right, so you can click on him and do this Tempest. This allows him to slam multiple enemies at once. Big us. That made quick work of the chieftain's bodyguards. When there is only one enemy left, players enter pillage mode. During pillage mode, each character moves in order and there are no more guaranteed turns. Right? So in this case, I get 2 turns to his 1. It doesn't go I go, you go. Otherwise, it would be a little bit overpowered. And I suppose you could probably game it. You could probably make a Superman character and put him on the table. Anyway, during pillage, each character moves in order and there's no more guaranteed turns. Check the initiative to see how the order has changed. Here, you can see here. If the character does not move on his turn, he can rest to regain a willpower. Right? Looks like the chieftain's in some trouble. Your shield banger won't be able to finish the job with a normal attack, but willpower can be used to boost your damage. So willpower is just a generalist overcharge ability. You can see here we can go like that to push it to 9, and then tip, bang. The foes lying dead at your feet. Something about a sentence not being finished.
Like a rabid wolf, that one. How did it come to this? We fool ourselves believing that peace will last. My grandfather built all this from a poor fishing village, you know. He watched the gods die, watched the chaos that followed, watched man and var slaughter each other, even before the dreads arose. All we've done is traded one struggle for another. Now that there are no more dreads to war against, we war against ourselves. This chieftain meant to kill me, and he's not the first. 12 families in the city would gladly take my chair. Yeah, right. This one had men waylaying merchants, both north and south of the city, strangling trade. Quite well, I would add, though he denied it to his lust. This sort of wolf doesn't stop biting because the head is cut off. It just grows a new head. I am in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe. Take any men you need. They're loyal, I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
Okay. Chapter 1, Only the Sun Has Stopped. So this is sort of our main character for now. You're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the Great Hall. He cuts to the chase. Eric. Eric, steward of Strand. I manage the governor's business. Uben, isn't it? Yep, it is. The governor tells me that you'll be giving us a hand. I didn't exactly agree. No, it seems a bit chaotic around here, Eric. Oh, it's been worse. We've got a lot of irons on the fire. What does he want exactly? Scalfings that you didn't hack up in the Great Hall scattered after you took out their chieftain. The governor just wants to make sure they stay down. Was hoping you'd join me at the marketplace by the docks. If there's anyone left to worry about, I know who can tell us. Okay, sure. This is our man of the town. Click the market tent to visit the merchant. Okay. Let me handle this. You meander through rows of open-faced houses and eroded stalls. Coloured canvases flap on a briny current. One man in particular blanches as you approach. Had, I'm not in the mood today. Oh, for what? Talking to an idiot. The Scalfing's chieftain bled out about an hour ago, Had. So when you tell me what rat anus the rest of them crawled back into, nobody's going to try and kill you this time. They don't talk to me. Eric needs some help here. I don't have the patience for this. Say nothing. No, let's let Eric walk his walk. I'm not going to say shit. Eric overturns his flimsy table, scattering Had's assortment of junk across the ground. Oh God, Eric, laying it on a bit heavy, don't you think? Where are the Scalfings? Noblemen up by the east wall. Nobleman. But that was months ago, last I know. I think that's actually a building. Had skulks away with a wave of Eric's hand, gathering things from his hovel, disappearing for a while until this blows over, you figure. Your bodyguard steps forward. Gnulf, are we done here? Gnulf, were you wearing green back at the Great Hall? Nah, just bought them while you were walking around. Why? You look like a frog? No reason? They look good. Oh, looks good, man. You look great. Oh, I'm glad you care. Gnulf goes off to look at more stalls. Jeez, he does look like a frog, though. Eric, that man of yours seemed unreliable at best. Look, a blind dog wouldn't trust Had, but he used to be a Scalfing. If they're licking their wounds, they're probably gone to old haunts, not new ones. Nobleman is a mead hall? Oh, best I can tell, the name is ironic. Listen, I know a guy who would love to put a few of these skulls in the ground. I'm gonna go find him, and I'll meet you there. Shouldn't we have an approach of some sort? Where is this place again? I'll just go, where is this place again? Nobleman is halfway up the hill toward the Great Hall. You won't miss it. Just make sure the governor remembers his promise, double the usual tithe. I'll remind him. Right. So we've got the mead house up here. You arrive in front of what must be Nobleman. A few minutes later, Eric appears with a weather-beaten man, introduces Valgard. I'll point them out, Eric says over his shoulder. Ready? Let's get this over with. You're walking in the front door. I'd rather sit this one out. No, let's get this over with. That's the spirit, says Valgard. Okay, here we go. Valgard boots the front door open so hard that it won't close again without repair. As you enter the hall, Eric is already at the head of a table with his axe drawn. Wide-eyed, drunken Scalfings scramble to find their own weapons, turning tables and mead steins in the process. Let's go, boys! Okay. I guess ready? Yeah, sure. I was hoping for more of a fight than this. Oh, righto. Look at them. It's gonna be butchery. Roger Dodger. I mean... let's get involved. Stone Wall? What's this do? Blocks damage to strengthen armor for 1 round. Blocks 3 damage per hit. Okay, whatever. That sounds good. Look at that. Blocked. 2 damage. Willpower 7. +2 due to camp's morale. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, bugger it. Let's go. What's this do? Rally. Gives willpower to allies at any range. Ah, that's handy. I don't know. Let's strip some armor. God, it's cool to be playing this again. Yeah. Oi. None of that. God, it's cool how they lumber, eh? So they had some sort of shield wall ability. Hmm. Three? Yeah, I can get around 3. Jesus. Now, he's got his spin ability. In a spin attack. Going clockwise from target. Nice. Jeez, they're mobbing my dude a bit. Jeez, this third party dude's doing some smashing. Oh, they are fucking Gunulf up. That's interesting how they sort of body block each other pretty aggressively. Shit. How much is this really going to do, you know? Down he goes. Dude, my giants were struggling a bit. It was the human show. Eric's ready for promotion. Wonderful. Gnulf has been injured in battle. So it doesn't permakill him, but it gives him an injury. There they are. Gods be damned, I've got to wash off this blood. Eric is looking out the hall's window onto the bay. A fleet of longships approach with sails of bold reds and blues. One banner I know well, Vognir. Next for Val Kingship, last we spoke. The other flag looks important. So this would be the prince or whoever's next in line. That's kind of cool. Yeah, important guests. See what I deal with all day long? Things make a little more sense. You hoped I'd have a stake in saying everything's fine here when the royal guests arrive. Not me, the governor. Now I have to make sure there are no rotting bodies or pools of entrails still in the Great Hall before they come by. Can I ask one more favour? No, Eric, I'm done for the day. No, what is it? He seems alright. He seems like a straight shooter, right? If you happened to stall our guests down on the docks, I wouldn't object. Or maybe I will. Eric and Valgard hustle from the mead house. To his credit, Eric tosses the barkeep a spar of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go to greet the new arrivals down at the docks. Right. Look at them all rocking up. Big fleet. Holy heck. Vognir? A familiar Val steps onto the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version tramping the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. Godzuben, you're looking ancient. Comes with being old, and if there is Vognir, then there must be Hakon. Or must there? Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid old yokes? At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Yeah, so I seem to be some sort of tax collector, collecting tithes across the land, right? Gerunda demands it. I'll take that over-lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arberang, actually, and glad for it. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering. Golden wolf head emblazoned on red. The king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp. Right, okay. So the sort of princes of the two factions are rolling around together. The king's son, Luden. Don't you know Scrivener? I think Scrivener is the shorthand for what my dude does. I can't quite remember, so that's what that means. I think. We visit his capital, he visits ours. It's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're going to Grofheim. I have the distinct feeling I finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is that the prince is a delight to behold. Okay, so we don't like the prince. Whereas Mogga, Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading up there to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few, others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Mogga. See you in the morning, Scrivener. Okay, I'll be along. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Luden looks for all the world the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. Oh my goodness. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think? Yeah, right. Well, setting the scene. Weariness subtly sets in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Vognir's caravan tomorrow, It might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon or introduce yourself to the prince that they spoke so highly of. Let's talk to Hakon. Suss him out. Scrivener! You find Hakon in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagon. Vognir's the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes, and every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. Oh, no surprise. What is it this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies, and we added a few more. Oh, humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yock's fart, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. Oh, it's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through dredge at Vognir's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Right, so he's a bit of a known operator, old Hakon. Down here, I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point, just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the mead house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. Cool. Let's go talk to this Prince of Men. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for Luden. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes, you're with Vognir. I don't remember you. Well, not exactly. I've known Vognir a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Luden looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? Well, I work for the king. I carry tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? Just to introduce myself, hope to learn more about you. I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk. Just to introduce myself, I think is fine. You collect taxes for the Varl territories? A true pleasure, yes. An awkwardness hangs in the air like a thick fog, and you take the opportunity to depart. Okay, right. We don't really have a strong read on him yet. Up to the Great Hall. Minus supplies. At dawn, you're awoken by a delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. It's damn hard to tell with the sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. Well, there you go. Things are in order. What are the odds? Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Vognir is already here. A while later, Luden and his men appear, groggy and dishevelled. Mogga steps forward, Vognir's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing, and he asks if you are ready to depart. We are ready. You follow Mogga and join the others. Usually the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort, just frustrated and tired people. It summarises Strand well as a whole, you think. Just a town of frustrated, tired people. And off we go.